Scientists are studying the potential of human bodies and brains to possess superpowers. Some superpowers arise through genetic mutations, such as the Sherpa people of the Himalaya who have adapted to high altitude with genes that supercharge their strength and endurance. Other superpowers can be acquired, such as mental athletes who perform amazing feats of memory. Even fear itself might be conquered with the right conditioning, as seen in the story of climber Alex Honnold, who has been compared to Spider-Man for scaling sheer rock walls without ropes. Scientists scanned the world-famous climber's brain using functional MRI in 2016, finding that his amygdala was utterly silent when shown graphic images that typically trigger intense activity in the amygdala, a brain region linked to fear. This superpower that the rest of us can tap into is a superpower that psychologists use to help people overcome fears. Neuroscience is revealing how fear memories are made and can be undone. The Sherpa people of Nepal have developed several genetic mutations that allow them to maintain low levels of red blood cells while the mitochondria in their cells use oxygen more efficiently. They have developed several genetic mutations that allow them to maintain their advantage even at sea level, a superpower that they hope to learn from to help people with chronic low blood oxygen due to respiratory or cardiovascular disease. The Bajo people of the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia are particularly renowned for staying underwater for as long as 13 minutes at depths up to 230 feet, 70 meters. They have evolved a genetic advantage to use oxygen more efficiently, but have developed a speedier mechanism to deal with oxygen deprivation. In real life, a combination of genetics and training gives some people superhuman moves. Swordsman Isao Machiai and gunslinger Bob Munden were tested as drawing and accurately firing their guns in less than a tenth of a second, faster than the reaction time of the average human brain. Memory champs can improve their memory at any age by practicing memory training programs. Research is revealing how memory techniques work, by forming networks in the brain that anchor new memories to old ones. Researchers have analyzed Beethoven's DNA to determine how much of the composer's musical genius is attributable to genetics. The first genomic analysis focused on possible genetic predispositions to his health, but there was no informative genome-wide association study, GWAS, of musical talent at the time. A subsequent GWAS involving 606,825 individuals identified the specific locations, loci, of 69 genes significantly associated with beat synchronization ability, assessed by the question, can you clap in time with a musical beat? A follow-up family study showed that polygenic indices had a small but significant effect on several music-related skills and traits. Polygenic indices, PGIs, or a polygenic score, PGS, are numbers that summarize the estimated effect of many, hence, genetic variants on the physical manifestation of an individual's genes. In the current study, the researchers calculated Beethoven's PGI and compared it with two population-based datasets of thousands of modern-day individuals for whom they had musical achievement data. Beethoven's PGI was relatively low compared with both reference populations, placing him in the 9th percentile for the Swedish stage cohort and the 11th percentile for Beovu. The study highlights the challenges of the PGI approach, as it would be wrong to conclude that Beethoven's low PGI meant he was an unexceptional musician, given his renown as a virtuoso. The mismatch between the DNA-based prediction and Beethoven's musical genius provides a valuable teaching moment, as it demonstrates that DNA tests cannot give us a definitive answer about whether a given child will end up being musically gifted. However, the findings don't discount DNA's contribution to musical talent, either. A previous twin study found that individual differences in music-related traits have a considerable genetic basis, with an average heritability of 42%. The researchers point out that a typical PGI captures just a fraction of genetic effects and is heavily reliant on the statistical power of the genome-wide association study, GWAS, and the heritability of the target trait. The predictive value of PGIs improves with larger GWAS samples and for traits with higher heritability. Genetic associations also reflect a culture-specific interplay between genetics and environment, so a GWAS in Western society may not universally apply to other populations. Additionally, PGIs don't necessarily produce accurate predictions at the individual level. A study has found that diabetes, air pollution, and alcohol consumption could be the biggest risk factors for dementia, a condition characterized by memory, thinking, and reasoning impairment. The research, based on brain scans of nearly 40,000 adults aged 44 to 82 in Britain, found that these factors affect certain brain regions that are already vulnerable to Alzheimer's disease and schizophrenia. The study, published in Nature Communications, found that these vulnerable regions develop during adolescence and help the brain process and integrate information across different modalities and senses. The study aims to identify the common risk factors affecting these regions, as dementia is the loss of cognitive function, and the number of people living with dementia is expected to increase to 153 million by 2050.
The loss of neurons is more significant in dementia patients.
Diabetes and alcohol consumption have been consistently associated with both cerebral and cognitive decline, while exposure to air pollution is a risk factor for cognitive decline and dementia. A 2020 Lancet report on dementia found that a dozen modifiable risk factors, including hypertension, hearing impairment, smoking, and obesity, together account for up to 40% of dementia cases worldwide.